Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Homecoming Week. My name is Mark Remus, and I'm the newest trustee for the Bowling Green State University Board of Trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome you and those joining us virtually on the live stream, including those at BGSU Firelands, to the 2025 State of the University Address. Before we begin, I would also like to invite all of our guests to attend the all-campus picnic, which will take place on the Bowen-Thompson Quad following the conclusion of the State of the University Address. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is an honor to be here today with our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends to discuss our progress in the future of the university. Thank you for your work in driving public good through redefining student success, through research, creative activities, partnerships and engagement, and empowering our public good through our people and community. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 12th president of Bowling Green State University, Dr. Rodney Rogers.
Well, happy homecoming. What a great start of the week, of the homecoming week, where we'll have an opportunity to welcome back so many individuals, alumni across the globe, back to their alma mater, and to engage our current students and to engage each of you in a great week. Trustee Remus, thank you very much for your leadership, and I also want to make sure I acknowledge the leadership of all of our trustees who work very hard, keeping us focused on public good. And so, Mark, thank you very much for your willingness to serve in that role. And we've got two student trustees that may be with us. I didn't see them, but Katie Ware, if Katie's here, and Leah McMillan, our newest undergraduate trustee. I don't see them, but I want to make sure I acknowledge them. You know, we also have the Honorable Mike Osbacher, the mayor of the great city of Bowling Green. Mayor Osbacher, thank you so much for being here today. And before we kind of begin with some remarks here, because I know I stand between you and that amazing picnic in front of the Bowen-Thompson Student Union, or in front of the University Hall, I should say. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least welcome the newest members of the senior leadership team of the university. Our provost and senior vice president, Ravi Crovey. Dr. Crovey, welcome to Bowling Green. Wonderful to have you here. And our new vice president for finance and administration and our chief financial officer, Casey Wyman. Casey, welcome to Bowling Green. And there will be another occasion to thank Sherry Stoll for her nearly 20 years of service as our CFO at this institution, and her 30 years of service to public higher education in this state. And so we will have another occasion where I will be able to recognize her for all the great work she has done for this university. But Sherry, I thank you for your leadership over all these years here at Bowling Green. Thank you. And one more, this will be the final State of the University address for another leader of our university, Pam Conlon. Pam will be retiring at the end of this calendar year, and I want to thank Pam for her 7+ years of her leadership here at this institution, leading our efforts around university development, giving, and alumni relations. Thank you, Pam, for all of your work. So, in preparing for today's address, I was reminded that I've had the opportunity to deliver several of these over the last 8 years. And while we have many new members of our community, what you probably know, you all have a fairly good idea of how these State of the University addresses go, right? So this year, we thought we'd try something a little bit different, a guest speaker, if you will. So we ask, who would the campus really want to hear from? And so, if you would turn your attention to the screen. So, we didn't get too far before we realized that probably doesn't work, right? So I know everybody loves Pudge. Well, except for maybe one who has learned a very difficult life lesson from the Pudge phenomenon, and that is my dog, Fiona. Not only is the puppy old news, heck, I think Pudge maybe even eclipsed Eddie George. But, no, not true. But as it turns out, the age-old debate between dog or cat, Bowling Green is a cat place? Maybe, I don't know. But in all seriousness, I want to thank you very much for being here. While I have the opportunity to tell the story of Bowling Green and discuss the state of our university, please know that this is not my story. This is our story, our collective effort, our collective momentum. And it couldn't belong to any one person or one division or a department or a college or an office. It is every one of us working together collectively. So I'm not going to mention individuals that have led a variety of initiatives that I'd like to highlight here, but I hope each of you see yourself in those initiatives that have driven our university forward. And so I want to start with a simple thanks of gratitude. So to our faculty, you are unrelenting in your pursuit of knowledge and in the mentorship that you are creating for our students. To our staff, you create a vibrant and welcoming campus that is alive with the possibilities. And to our students, thank you. You give us purpose. And to our alumni and supporters, some of who are in this room today and maybe viewing online, thank you for your belief in this institution that drives the very work that we do each and every day. So certainly, when you think of Bowling Green State University, it's easy to think of our physical spaces, our beautiful campus, our both here and in Huron, our classrooms, our athletic facilities, our art spaces, and many more. But Bowling Green is far more than a series of buildings. It's bigger than that. It's not just a place, but rather, I think, a promise of what our society could be and who our students might become, of what our research will discover. Bowling Green has long been an innovative, creative, hard-working university creating and supporting public good. And it's the people of Bowling Green who have done that. People just like you who have, for more than 115 years, have stewarded this great institution with their vision of what this learning community could be, this driver of public good. And it has always been the people who make Bowling Green what we are, who carry this promise. And I am reminded of what an incredible opportunity and honor it is, I think, at least, to be a part of this university. But to each of you, I thank you. We begin by gratitude and thanks to each of you. So now, you have likely heard about momentum at Bowling Green, right? Mass times velocity. And certainly we have had many, many successes. This fall, we again welcomed our largest freshman class in the university history, up nearly 4% over last year's record class, and up 34% from just 4 years ago. Firelands College achieved a nearly 5% increase, resulting in their highest enrollment in the past decade. And not only is this the largest class, but it is also the most academically prepared and the highest achieving. And as of just yesterday, our official total headcount, including undergrad, graduate, and firelands, is up 3.5% over last year, our largest headcount in the last 2 decades. Thank you for that work. And we are incredibly proud to see enrollment increase from every part of this state and beyond. And while we are designated as a regional public university, we are absolutely serving the entire state and beyond. We are achieving historic and sustained success in student outcomes. More than 81% of our first-year students return for their second year, and we have achieved record number of students earning their degrees in 4- and 6-year graduation rates. Thank you for the work that you are doing. Applaud for that, absolutely. And we continue to push ourselves to reach new student populations with new and relevant, in-demand academic programs, from being the first university in the nation to offer an AI plus X degree, all the way to our rollout of our new hybrid delivered doctorate of occupational therapy. So both at the undergrad and the grad, your innovation is driving our enrollment because you are creating programs that are meeting the needs of our society. And Bowling Green continues to build on our research enterprise as a proud, high research active university, driving meaningful and relevant research, but also steadfast in our commitment to our students' educational experience. Here, leading researchers teach classes and provide opportunities for all students, graduate students, of course, but also undergraduate students, to work on research alongside them. In many ways, our strategy is a more challenging path than perhaps other universities because we need great teachers and great researchers working together. And of that, I am so proud of our accomplishments in those spaces. And we continue to engage with our alumni and supporters across the globe. Earlier this year, we had another record BGSU One Day. We had more donors than ever this past year. And this next year is going to mark our 10th year of the BGSU One Day. When this initiative started, we really didn't know how successful that might be. Because in that first year, I want to remind everybody, we raised $352,992.35. Now, I don't know who gave the 35 cents. But maybe they could have rounded up to the nearest dollar. I don't know. But nearly 10 years later, in total, BGSU One Days have raised $12,718,420 to support our students and the university. And over the past year, our alums and supporters of Bowling Green have committed over $356 million to support our students and this university. That is momentum. Thank you. And several of those individuals are in this room that have been lead donors to a variety of initiatives. And I'm not going to name you, but I want to thank you for that commitment to this institution. Our arts continue to thrive with more than 400 arts and cultural events for our students in the broader community. And these events add to the cultural vitality of our region. But the arts have also represented Bowling Green on a variety of national stages. For example, most recently, the Falcon Marching Band was selected to perform at the Parade of Roses in 2027, highlighting not only the size, but certainly the quality and the reputation of the Falcon Marching Band. It is highly competitive to be selected to appear in the Rose Parade, and we are excited that Bowling Green will be there. And the momentum of our athletics continue to grow as well. We now have more than 250 athletic events home and away, and it creates amazing opportunities and experiences, certainly, for our student athletes. But it also brings communities together. They've won championships, driving our reputation and who we are on the national stage. And I am most proud for the first time in 15 years and the fifth time in program history, the league office, the Mid-American Conference League Office, just announced that Bowling Green State University has been named the winner of the Mid-American Conference Institutional Academic Achievement Award. This award is presented annually to the MAC institution that achieves the highest overall GPA for student athletes competing in institutional sponsored sports during an academic year. The top of the MAC. So athletics, the arts, a commitment to student success. And you know, we are continually improving our facilities, and we will soon open a state-of-the-art technology and engineering innovation center. And this weekend, we're going to hold the ribbon cutting for a new practice field for the Falcon Marching Band, as well as a home for our club sports. All of this is investing in opportunities for our students, investing in the programs at this institution. You know, we're even seeing innovation in how we tell the story, with Bowling Green's social media reaching millions of people and is now ranked number 6 best social media for any university in the United States. Number 6 in the country. You know, and all of this is taking place in one of America's best college towns, now ranked the safest college town for any public university in Ohio and one of the safest in the country. And even though the mayor did best me in our annual BG zip line race, now, doesn't it look like he had a head start? I mean, I don't want to be a sore loser, but Mr. Mayor, you did beat me fair and square, and I lost in the zip line competition. But I want to make sure that we thank the city of Bowling Green, and I'll call out to the city of Huron, too, and our Firelands campus. But Mr. Mayor, thank you for a great friendship and partnership that we have. Both organizations, both communities are stronger as we work together. So thank you to the city of Bowling Green and our mayor. Thank you. So we are forging pathways across Ohio, leveraging our robust educational ecosystem to create clear paths for those who are interested in learning and developing their talents, including new partnerships with Penna Career Center and Terra State Community College. You know, and additionally, we will continue to work on establishing more corporate partnerships and industry alignment, from collaborations with First Solar, focusing on micro-credentials, to Meta, who's now working with our College of Arts and Sciences. We will partner with anyone who wants to help us develop talent. That should be a key driver of what we do. And you know, we are pleased to share that Bowling Green has been selected as the only university in the Midwest and one of only 8 in the entire country that will participate in a workforce collective which is funded by J.P. Morgan Chase to develop national models of partnerships between educational technology companies, industry, and universities. It is being led by Arizona State, and we should be proud to be one of the 8 institutions, including Arizona State, and 7 more, including Bowling Green, the only university in the Midwest is participating in this new initiative. Congratulations to those that are leading that. And so to that end, we must continue to convene and listen to challenges and workforce needs of both for-profit and non-profit organizations in Ohio and beyond. We've got to recognize our role as a public university in driving forward the work that's happening across our state and nation. So whether it be advanced manufacturing, whether it be innovation in the glass industry, whether it be the need for more K through 12 teachers, or the understanding of the family work-life balance, or of the human condition, we need to be responsive to what those needs may be in our community and be a partner for the success of all. Now, this momentum at this institution is certainly driving national recognition. And we continue to be nationally ranked in many different academic disciplines, absolutely. And I won't go through that whole list, but the programs that continue to receive national recognition. But at the university level, I'm just so proud that we are the #1 public university in Ohio for the student educational experience, #1 in Ohio for career preparation, and for the 5th year in a row, continue to be the #1 public university in the Midwest, #3 in the nation, that our students say they would choose again. That is great momentum, and that is created because of a commitment of a community to the student's success. That said, momentum, for the sake of momentum, well, that would kind of be a waste of energy. It'd be a waste of energy if it never creates an impact, right? So this idea of transferring the energy of momentum to something else, I keep thinking about this idea of impact, the impact of our momentum. And so that's what I want to share a few comments on today. So do we have some physicists in the room? I think we do, right? So our physics experts in the room have suggested we discuss the impulse momentum theorem, which states that the impulse an object experiences due to the quick action of an external force acting in a very short time period is equal to the object's change in momentum. So I considered that approach. I actually did. And they said, why don't you just put it in a formula and it will be very easy to understand. So here's what they proposed. So I was a music major, okay? Maybe I can read formulas, but here, I think we should focus more likely on the truest measure of momentum, at least in my opinion. And the truest measure of momentum is what we are making possible in the world around us. How are we using this momentum? How are we impacting the world around us? A few years ago, a Thompson scholar in a summer orientation had asked me, so you talk about it being a public university for the public good. What's the greatest good that Bowling Green State University creates? And as I reflect back on what I said to that individual, there's many answers to that, of course. Our research, our creative activities generate tremendous public good. That impact spans the globe, certainly, from studying the waters in Antarctica to improving water quality right here in Ohio, as well as research on health and social and family systems, just to name a few. Our growing partnerships certainly drives our relevancy in a variety of industries. The economic impact, with a Lightcast study citing that Bowling Green State University creates annually a $3.1 billion impact on Ohio. Our cultural impact, the events that we host for the learning community and the public, arts events, public lectures, performances, competitions, Day of Dialogue, Black Issues Conference, Latino X Conference, the list could kind of go on. And certainly those are incredible measures of public good. But our public good with the most extensive reach? My answer to that Thompson scholar was this: it's the people. It's the people who make this learning community what it is. The people who create our momentum. Just think, hundreds of thousands of individual paths have crossed Bowling Green. Whether it is our students, our faculty, our staff, they have had this Bowling Green experience, but they carry it into the world. Symbolically, I think of the Alumni Gateway, a physical gateway from our campus to the community, a reminder what we do here. It is tremendous impact. You see, you have created this learning community, a learning community that more and more students want to be a part of. Here, our students are exposed from people from all walks of life. They meet our faculty and our staff. They ask questions. They're encouraged to learn with curiosity. They're encouraged to be bold and to take action. And this includes everything from joining or starting a student organization, studying abroad, working on a research project, all in an environment of kindness, respect, and support. Our students, our alumni, take all they gain from that experience, and they in turn make a difference through their careers and lives. All the way from rural communities in Ohio that are in a critical need for teachers, to nurses, for mental health professionals. You know, think of a Bowling Green graduate who now leads a classroom where students are learning to read for the very first time. It is occurring today somewhere in the country. Think about the alumna who is pioneering new medical treatments, or the young entrepreneur who is creating jobs in their community and beyond, or the artist who works to help us see the world a little bit differently. Our alumni, they're in hospitals, startups, boardrooms, research labs, schools, nonprofits, in the halls of government and businesses. They're everywhere. And they carry this university with them in making the decisions, every person that they mentor, every life they touch. That is impact. That is the ripple effect of momentum. That is the ripple effect of your efforts, the impact of your work, the impact of our momentum. But our success, our momentum, come at a time when many are questioning this very value. And I want to touch on this, because without a doubt, there is heightened skepticism towards higher education. We hear college is too expensive. Students incur too much debt. It takes too much time to get a degree, and it's not a very good value. And in fact, you don't even need a college degree anymore. There's too much indoctrination. AI is going to replace universities anyway. You hear all of those kind of arguments, right? And so you think there's certainly a lot of challenges. And I certainly don't want to minimize it. But I'll say this. There are few professions as noble, as essential as the one that we get to be a part of. And I believe that's not going to change. So let us not forget that higher education has gotten a lot right as well. We can absolutely make improvements. Let's be clear on that. But we have gotten a lot right. We have had an incredible impact on society. Research, medical breakthroughs, technologies. And I would argue higher education has been one of the single greatest differentiators for our country as opposed to many other countries around the world, because we have historically cast a very wide talent net. It is really hard, even impossible, to predict which 18-year-old will go on to start a business, find the cure, invent the technology, become a professor, work at a university. But in this country, higher education has opened the door of opportunity for the next generation of leaders. A blank slate for them to write. And we have done this at scale in this country. And a study from the Council on Higher Education and AGB concluded that 2 of the 3 main reasons for this nation's long-term success are K through 12 education and access to higher education. 2 of the 3 reasons. That's the work we do. And they concluded by saying our country cannot afford the luxury of wasted talent. And I agree absolutely with that. We cannot afford, our country, our world can't afford the luxury of wasted talent. We get to play a role in developing that talent. And so certainly, these challenges that we face, they're not abstract, nor are they things that we only see in the news. They are real, and they have reached our campus. This decline in public trust in higher education has led politicians to take actions. That's what they do. And so what does it mean for us? Well, a revision of the dispersing of public funding for a portion of the state share of instruction that instead of focusing on student success and degree completion is now focused on post-employment salaries. The more money a graduate makes, the more SSI is allocated. So we have to do a good job of articulating that we absolutely need highly qualified graduates in all professions, including what I would call the helping professions. A bill, now state law, introduces even more regulations that attempt to ensure free speech at Ohio's public universities, legislating how learning communities welcome and support students and faculty and staff. They're reshaping our structures and requiring statements of commitment, like you see published on the back of this piece of this document in front of you. We've got policies on intellectual diversity. So all of that we've done, even though Bowling Green has long embraced intellectual diversity since our very founding, outlined in our founding documents. I went and read our founding documents. They were stored in the archives, thanks to a great library, right? And I want to read from those founding documents. Essential to the atmosphere of a university is academic freedom, the full freedom of speech, freedom to teach, to learn, to conduct inquiry in a spirit of openness necessary to the acceptance of criticism, the expression of differing opinions, and the pursuit of truth. So, I like those founding words even better than the other ones, but we've got both. So here's what I would say. Let us accept the criticism of higher education, because we say we're going to. We need to accept that. But we need to respond in appropriate ways to continue to pursue truth and to ensure that all voices are heard and all are free to openly debate ideas and drive knowledge forward. That cannot be anything we compromise on, right? And further, I want to point out that not only are we in one of the most highly regulated industries, but we're also in the highly competitive. You know, because of the success that this university has had, we are competing for enrollment with different institutions than we were 10 years ago. It isn't institutions just in our backyard or the region. Instead, it's universities across the state, even out of state. They have very different profiles than the universities we were competing with 10 years ago. And certainly this is a great thing. It's a good thing. So we have to recognize the competition is even steeper today than it was 10 years ago. So we cannot be complacent. We can't back down from innovation and driving forward with new ideas, because the hill is even bigger to climb. And then finally, there is this issue of declining public trust, with public sentiment driven mainly against elite universities that perhaps don't look anything like us or like anything we want to be. Yet that is the voice that tends to be driving the perception of higher education. So you might think it sounds like the cards are stacked against us. But you know, I like our odds. I like our odds. I believe we are better positioned for this moment than many, many universities across this country, if we remain focused. You know, I'm reminded of a quote from Abigail Adams written to her son, John Quincy Adams. Here's a quote: "These are times in which a genius would wish to live. It is not in the still calm of life that great characters are formed. The habits of a vigorous mind are formed in contending with difficulties. All history will convince you of this." This indeed is a great opportunity as we face this next era of higher education. And while some think our purpose is to prepare students for that first job, which is what I often hear in Columbus or DC. What we know is higher education is much greater than a degree. It's an experience that benefits one for a lifetime. And I believe there is no better experience than the Bowling Green experience right here. And right here, we have taken significant industry-leading strides in preparing our students for not only great careers, but great lives. We do not just pass along knowledge. We create it, we refine it, we challenge it, and I hope we empower our students to be intentional about their education. And so my ask of you is to remain focused. Remain focused on our greatest impact. Do not take the bait of distraction, but rather focus our energy with a growth mindset on how we can continue to build on our momentum to be even more impactful. We must find ways to be more efficient and more effective. We must do that. That is true. But we also must become more relevant and more significant, more essential for our state and nation. This isn't going to be easy, doing both. But in that spirit, I propose to you a series of questions. And the first covers one of the most discussed topics that seem to be in the world today, and that's AI. You know, with the introduction, though, of every new technology, every new wave of technology, people always worry about its impact on the work they do and how it will challenge what we do. AI is no different, and we certainly are not afraid of it, but we must not only ensure our students know how to use AI, but we must leverage it as well. We must embrace it and race with it. We must also, however, acknowledge the even greater importance of developing critical thinking skills in ourselves and in our students in this AI world, because it is still us, the people, who will drive the questions, and new discoveries. Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress." Are we confident that we're using our imagination, that we're empowering students to use their imagination to drive knowledge forward? And so, are we confident that we truly are preparing our students for tomorrow's workforce? What we teach them today, it may not be relevant in 10 years, let alone in a year from now, right? And we say we teach critical thinking and problem solving, but I would challenge us to, are we intentionally teaching that? Are we truly engaging our students and supporting our students to gain those durable skills of being curious, of knowing how to reframe challenges, of emphasizing collaboration, of being willing to take action and embracing a growth mindset? You know, my next question is doubling down on our work to drive access to a Bowling Green education. Is there more that we can do to make this educational experience accessible to more? To everyone that wants to come here and work hard regardless of their background? Are we committed to that? Are we sure that if a student is here and is willing to work hard, that they will be supported holistically to succeed? Are we truly an institution that wants to be judged by the success of those we include, not those we exclude? And when it comes to our research, are we certain we are doing all we can to align our research and creative activities to the needs of societies? Are we able to articulate the importance and the relevance of this work? Are we able to demonstrate how this work is making the world a little bit better, driving and adding to public good, if you will? And finally, we know that to have a great life, our students need a great career. So, are we truly preparing our students to have a competitive edge in the marketplace, to compete for the best first job, while that will prepare them for a lifetime of careers? Are we connecting students with corporate and community partners and alumni to expand opportunities for our students to engage with industries and accelerate their transition from the classroom to the first job and to their life's work? Is there more that we need to do to make sure we are aligned, pushing the norms of higher education outside of our classrooms and into industry? So this idea of continuing to push the norms of higher education to challenge ourselves is something we have already proven possible. So, for example, we all know how a student goes to college matters a great deal when it comes to long-term career success and satisfaction with life. There are tons of studies to show that, how the student goes to college. Students, they need experiences and learning opportunities throughout their education to realize the full value. And most universities do a great job of creating and offering these experiences. But I would argue most stop right there. They absolutely have those opportunities and they offer them, but they stop right there. Well, at Bowling Green, we said that wasn't good enough. So we flipped the script. We have empowered our students to make sure they do this experience, designing an educational experience that is right for them. So sure, they've taken prescriptive courses, but here our goal is to empower them to have a holistic experience with intentionality. Books have been written about this, and I was struck. This book just came out this spring. It's called Hacking College. And they spend the first 20-some chapters pointing out all the flaws in higher education, about all these different opportunities that exist. And they conclude by saying, what a university really should do is help students, and I quote, to be the self-directed designers of their educational experiences. That's the solution to Hacking College. Universities should help students be self-directed designers of their educational experiences. Well, does that sound familiar? Book just came out. For the last 5 years, we've faced that head on. The idea that college, and the big challenge is the argument that college simply isn't worth it. And maybe college isn't simply worth it if it's simply a series of checklists on a box of a curriculum checklist. But we know there is so much more, and we need to focus on the entire educational experience for both undergrad and grad students. And I am proud here at Bowling Green that we've not only embraced, but we are leading a fundamental shift in our approach to higher education. As you know, we call it life design, and of course this year, we will have reached full scale at the undergraduate level, offering it to every single student in one way or the other. And this is absolutely a differentiator for Bowling Green. And I want to recognize and thank several of our donors who are here, who made it possible. But also to all of you, all of our faculty and staff who've embraced that idea that we are here to empower students. They take responsibility, we take responsibility, we work together to empower them to design this educational experience, to embrace this opportunity, to create momentum for themselves and go out and have great impact. So my final ask is to each of you to continue to focus on the work that we do. Continue to challenge yourself and this learning community. Our momentum is real. Our impact is real. And it is because of our people who have been willing to do what others have not been willing to do. This is a university that has long punched above our weight. We started as a teacher training institution, a normal college, and today we are absolutely a national leader in preparing teachers, no doubt. But we have also built Bowling Green to be so much more. Truly a national leader in a broad range of disciplines and innovations. And we must, and we will continue to innovate. We will continue to change and adapt, and we will continue to build on this learning community that has long been proud to be public, proud to be measured by the success of all that we include. And so to each of you, I thank you. Thank you for your commitment to our students and to the mission of this university. Thank you for turning momentum into impact. Our university is strong, strong indeed, because of you. Because of you. So let us not pause. Let us not falter. Let us carry this momentum forward. Thank you. And Isaac Izuba.